Hello everyone! Welcome to Papercrafting Playdate. My name is Robin Armbrecht with Really Robin Stamps. Welcome! I am so glad that you are here. Today is August 27th, 2021, and this is Papercrafting Playdate episode number 30. So where I live in Illinois, it is back to school time. Lots of school started back this week, and for some reason when I was thinking about what to do today, I kept coming around to easel cards. It was making me think of back to school and art and all that good stuff. So that's what I have planned for us to do today, and let's get started. So let me turn the camera around and you can see what's on my table. Right, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see the table a little better. There we go. All right. Hello, Miss Cheryl. How are you doing today? All right, I'm going to pull you up on Facebook. So how many of you have children that are back to school? I just have one student that is in my house right now, and he went back to college. I mean, he didn't actually go back to college, but he started taking his classes again. Everything is still online for him. All right, let me see. I'm going to try to share this. Well, let's see. Let me try that again. Maybe. There we go. Okay. All right, we're all set. So like I said, it's back to school, making me think about easel cards. That's what we're going to do today. And one of the great things about an easel card is that they are meant to be displayed. So when you receive one or you mail one, it's a great card because it stands up very nicely and can be displayed over and over again. So I'm thinking about, you know, this season that we're coming up on, fall and winter, where we tend to do a lot of decorating, probably the most decorating or that we do, you know, throughout the whole year. And so this is a great time to send these cards because they can get tucked away with the decorations and brought back out year after year because they're kind of just a little extra special. So we're going to do two versions of a very basic easel card today, and they can be vertical or horizontal. So that is what we're going to do first, is we're going to make a vertical one. And what I decided to do, I like to give myself parameters when I am planning, because I need them. Otherwise, I have way too much stuff to play with. And so last week on my live, the design that I did really focused on all the free papers from the Celebration catalog. And so today, I thought it would be really nice to focus on the stamp sets. So I believe we're going to use every single Celebration stamp set, or at least I'll have a sample with it. So we're going to do Counting Sheep and This Feels Like Home, Textures and Frames, and then Delicate Dahlias. So you'll get to see all of those in action today. Now don't forget, Celebration, we're already 1 month in because August is almost over. So you have one more month to take advantage of this sale, and it is the greatest sale that Stampin' Up offers throughout a given year, because you get any one of these free items for either a $50 or a $100 order. So it is really nice. It's a nice way to build your stamp set very easily. So these two items at the end of this catalog are free with a $100 order. And then the other thing that Stampin' Up always does during Celebration is they have a special with their starter kit. So what a lot of people do Even if they don't really want to be a demonstrator, they don't want to sell anything, you can still buy the starter kit for $99. And that just, you can kind of be like a discount shopper. And a lot of people do that. So you get 20% off of all your orders. There is a minimum every quarter, but at any time that you don't want to be a demonstrator anymore, you just stop. There's no penalty. You don't have to buy anything else. So this is really the best deal because you get $125 worth of product and you get free shipping on all of that. So that's a really good deal. Plus, during celebration, you can choose from these 12 bundles. You can pick any one of them, and they're all from the mini catalog, the holiday mini catalog. You can pick any one of them as an addition to your starter kit. So in some cases, you're getting an additional $50. So something to think about if you are ready to spend, you know, $100 on supplies that you need. You might as well get the starter kit and save on shipping and get an extra bundle. Okay, so let's make the basic vertical easel card first. So I'm going to just start with a full sheet of paper and show you how this gets cut. So you're going to cut it in half the long way, which I call a panel card. So you're going to measure at 4 1/4 inches, and you're going to cut that. And then, so basically you can get two card bases from that. We're just going to use one today. And then you're going to score it in half, just like a regular card. So that will be at 5 1/2. Hi, Elaine. Hi, Cheryl. How are you guys doing today? Then what you're going to do is you're going to score one side in half, which will be at 2 3/4. So I scored it in half first, and then I scored this half in half at 2 3/4. So let me go ahead and fold this and make sure those score lines are even. And now this one is going to fold in, like inside the card. So basically the score lines get folded in the same direction. All right, so that's our card base. So what I wanted to use today, even though this isn't a celebration item, this was just a really, this is fun. So I wanted to pull out this paper to get us started. So I've got the Nature's Harvest stamp set, and then I am using the pack of paper called Harvest Meadow. And we're going to use almost all these pieces in here. So the first thing we're going to do is stamp our beautiful cone flower. And I'm going to stamp it in the Memento Black because I want to color it in with the alcohol markers. Okay, so let's see. We're going to cut this out, but I'm going to color it first. So I picked some colors that went with the colors that are in the paper. So I picked out Calypso Coral and Soft Succulent and Crumb Cake. And so those are the colors that I'm going to make my flower design. So I'm going to use the light color first. This is the light Calypso Coral. I'm just going to put a base coat on that flower. And then I'm going to go back with the darker color and kind of just highlight some of those lines along the leaves. And then I'm going to go back with the light and just kind of blend that in, blend it together. And then I'll go to the next flower. So leave me a comment about back to school. I mean, I kind of have a teaching background, so you know, it's kind of an exciting time, but I love school supplies. I love shopping for them. I love opening them. I love playing with them. Can anybody else relate to that school supply? Like I still, even though my kids don't, they're not, you know, they're old, they're adults. I can't not go through the back to school aisle every year and get something. Sometimes I buy crayons. Sometimes I get a new, you know, set of markers, or I need a new binder. I don't know. Notebooks. Oh my goodness. Spiral notebooks. I love spiral notebooks. I can't resist them. I have to go get something every year. And then I usually give it away or use it myself. But anybody else like that? School supplies get you kind of excited. I know when your kids are little and you're buying a lot of them, it's not exciting. It's kind of stressful because you have to buy so much. But something about it, fresh supplies, is just exciting. All right, so I'm using the soft succulent color on the leaves. There's not as much room to shade here, so I'm going to use the small tip here. And just do a little bit of shading. Like that. And then we'll blend it with the light color. Okay, so that's going to be our focal point, which we're going to put on a piece of designer series paper, and then we're going to mount on this matte piece here. So let's bring in the Mrs. Cut Boss here, and we'll put her to work. So the first thing that we're going to do is cut the flower. So we're going to need that die. Okay. Cute. I love that. Now I've also already cut out from this die set these two greeting kind of shapes, and we're going to put our greetings on those. But let's do some embossing too. So I'm going to take away these plates because I'm going to use the Time Worn Type, which is a 3D folder. And we're going to take the sheet of, that's basically going to be the card front. So the card front on my card is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm going to just emboss the whole thing. But before I do that, I'm going to attach the designer series paper that I want on top of it. Oh, I meant to grab a new glue today. I'm trying to use up one of my older ones. So that means I have to keep it tipped upside down because it's almost out. So let's bring a new one in. So this is a piece that's 2 inches by 4 inches. It's going to go right across the whole card. And I thought it would be cool if we would just kind of melt that right into the cardstock by putting that into the embossing folder. So I'm using this gray plate because it's a 3D embossing folder. Whoops, and I don't need this one on there. Okay, now we'll do it. This is such a fun technique. If you put your designer series paper on top of the cardstock first and before you emboss it, then it just really like melts right into the cardstock and it looks really cool. All right, so now we can assemble this. So we're going to put this on here, but I thought it would be fun to just stamp this great little background first. So we're gonna just put a couple of those kind of where that flower is going to sit. And then we'll glue this down. Like that. This is Misty Moonlight. It's one of the coordinating colors, so we'll put that matte piece on there. And then we'll pop this up onto the card front. So back to what an easel card is. So I said it is a card that's meant to be displayed because it stands up really, really nicely. So basically what you have is a card front, and then you have a card base, and the card base is going to make this great little mechanism such that it's going to lift the card front up, okay? So that's one thing that you have to have when you are doing, oops, that looks crooked, when you are making an easel card. Let me just adjust that. All right, so I thought this would make a good sympathy card, and so I pulled out this With Heartfelt Sympathy, which is a greeting that isn't in the stamp set. It's in the Inspired Thoughts stamp set. Good afternoon, Carol. And we're just gonna tuck that right there. Like that. Okay, so now let's assemble the card front. So, as I was trying to explain, when this tents up into the easel like this, we want this top half of the card front to not be attached to the card front. So the only place that we're going to put adhesive is down here, basically on half of this quarter that's going on the card front. So I'm going to put some adhesive right on the fold here, and then I know my card doesn't go all the way to the edges because I left a border. So I'm just going to fill that in. And then you're going to center that. Like that. All right, so there's the top part of the easel card, okay? So you can see why it's called that, because it's got that kind of art easel kind of shape, right? So the second element that you need in order to do an easel card is you need something on the inside that is raised up so that this front piece can rest behind it. It'll hold it, so that holds it in place. So I thought it would be really pretty to bring in this color, so I'm just going to add this color to the inside, and it's light enough that we can still, you know, write on it to send it. So the element that you would want popped up can be literally anything. It can be a embellishment that has some dimension to it or some height, because it'll stop the card. It can be a punch shape, it can be a die cut, anything like that. So that's where this one comes in. This one comes in this stamp set. So I'm going to put that there, but I'm going to raise it up so that it catches this. So let's stamp our inside greeting. I guess there's really, I said there's two main elements of an easel card, but there's really a third element, and the third element is coordinating greetings. Because when this card is displayed, you're going to see two sentiments at the same time. So this is a really good opportunity to find, you know, your message you know, you can really create a more layered message. So this says, with heartfelt sympathy, and then this says, sending healing thoughts, may nature's beauty bring peace to your soul. All right, so now we're going to use a bunch of dimensionals here to make it solid, like that. Now you can add this, I would say anywhere between 1 inch and 2 inches from the bottom of the card. But what really matters is where do you want this to stop? Do you want it to be more angled like this, or do you want it to stand up straighter? So that's going to be where you want to put your popped up piece. Okay, so I'm going to put mine about here, but before I do that, I'm going to stamp one more thing. I've got this other little tiny little flower image, and I'm just going to stamp that kind of in the background here. So just make the inside a little more interesting, and then we'll put that right here. And then there you've got your little easel card. All right, have you guys made one of these before? Have you made one recently? Is this something new to you? What do you think? I'm trying to find my original sample, and you know what? I can't find it. Anyway, so it mails flat, and then when the person gets it, it opens like that, and it rests like that. So, all right, so that is your basic vertical version of the easel card. So let me show you a couple other ideas. So I wanted to make one that kind of looked like a blackboard because I was thinking about back to school, right? So I did basic black cardstock, and I embossed in white on there, and then I did some gorgeous leaves, and then just picked some classic fall colors, rich raspberry, pumpkin pie, and old olive. And then, so this says thinking of you, and then when that pops up, it says with a grateful heart, and the leaf is the dimensionalized piece that stops the front of the, you know, the card so that it rests like you want it to. And then I played with this new paper, which I can't think of the name of, but it's got all these very beautiful, rich colors. Let's see if I can find it. Blackberry Beauty. This is the paper right here, and it's a specialty paper, so it's got gold foiling in it. It's just beautiful. So I finally got a package of that, and then I got this ephemera pack because I came up with a new system of deciding whether or not, or ranking, I guess, how urgent it is for me to get new stamp sets, right? Because I can't buy them all. I love this stamp and die set. I think it's gorgeous. But I knew I had to get the paper, and I love that these pieces came. So you can get this ephemera pack for $6, and it gives you all these great tags and little embellishment pieces. So this is on my wish list, but I'm 4 cards away, 4 cute cards away from getting it as my that's my rating system. So if I see 4 more adorable cards with this, then I'm gonna have to get it. All right, so I used one of the pieces of this paper, which is gold foiled, and I used the pieces of ephemera, and then just created this little one too. So you can see this one is a full like 2.5 inches back, and it just makes the card stand up a little bit taller or straighter when you do it that way. All right, so this is our basic vertical version. I have one more vertical to show you, but first I have to side note in with this stamp set. Now this, I know I said we're going to be using celebration stamp sets, and I haven't used one yet. However, I was playing with this one because this is one that I did get, and I just have to stamp this for you because it is, I've never had a stamp set like this before. I think it's brilliant. Where's my block? So this is called Breathe. No, it's called, I keep calling it the Breathe Deep stamp set. It's really called Reflected in Nature. And so the image is one of these distinctive images, and it's got the main image and then it's got the reflection. So it's got a lighter, it's really pretty. It's great for, you know, fall and winter cards, and it's great for masculine cards. So I just have to stamp this for you because it's a real, it's a ooh and ah. So I'm using Evening Evergreen. Look at that. It's amazing. So it automatically, I mean, I inked it the same, but the reflection piece picks up less ink, so it looks a little bit blurry and lighter in color. With one stamp, you can get that beautiful effect. Isn't that amazing? So I wanted to do a fun easel card with this where the reflection would be on the inside. And so I was able to come up with this card here. And so I just inked them one at a time. And so I just did one first, and then I inked it again, and I did the other side, and I put that on the inside so that the reflection would be down below. I'm super excited about that. What do you guys think? All right, so those are my vertical versions. Let's move on to the horizontal version of this card. Thanks, Elaine. Thanks, Carol. Oh, I have to show you this one too. So this is an easel card, but once I stamped this, I had to make another card, and I tried out, I posted on my Facebook page, shared from Stampin' Up, they were showing how you could color ribbon with your blends, and so I colored the gingham ribbon with my soft succulent blend and just created this beautiful green gingham, and then I just stamped that, cut around, and put some of the cork paper behind there. So very simple card, but this is a real wow stamp set. Okay, so we're moving on. Moving on to the horizontal version. All right, so for my horizontal version, I'm going to use the thick basic white as my card base. Hi, Bonnie. And I'm going to cut it in half this way. So to make the vertical version, you cut it in half this way. To make the horizontal version, you cut it in half this way. So you cut at 5 1/2. You can make 2. And then to score it, you score it in half first at 4 1/4. So I'm going to use the scoring blade here. All right, so you've got it in half where it's going to fold, and then you want half of the half, which is 2 1/8. I'll score it again. So it's the same kind of method for making the easel base. You know, just score it in half like a regular card, and then you score whatever the front is in half. So it doesn't matter whether you're doing horizontal or vertical. So let's go ahead and make sure these are even. So now I'm going to start using the celebration sets. And for this card, we're going to use Feels Like Home. pull that one out. I think we're using, yep, we're using all of those. So we'll put our blocks on. Okay, so here's the front of this card. I'll show you the side view. So it looks the same. Triangle's going to be a little smaller though because it's wider instead of, you know, the vertical version. All right, so we're going to kind of do a monochromatic card here. So I picked out Night of Navy and Misty Moonlight, and we're going to stamp everything and use the Night of Navy ink. So let's start with the focal point. Can I get my door straight on here? So I'm just stamping this on regular basic white. So cute, right? Now, I'm gonna just tell you right off the bat that I'm not sure if I'm ever gonna color this image. I might do it once, but coloring something very intricate like this, I don't enjoy as much. I'm not sure why, but I probably will color this at least once. And so I probably wasn't as excited about this stamp set as some of the others, but I have to tell you, it's so different once you play with something, because then you're like, oh, you see the features, you know, and the benefits of having it. Great greetings in this stamp set, and this looks so great just stamped in a single color that I think, I don't know, it appeals to me much more now that I've played with it, if that makes sense. So I'm just gonna, while this ink is still kind of drying, I'm just gonna take my blender pen, which this is just a you know, a blank marker basically that you can use for blending all kinds of things. And I'm just gonna lightly brush it over the door, and it's gonna pick up some of that navy blue ink and blend it. Now you wanna do it lightly because it'll slightly blur your image if you press too hard. And then I'm gonna just do the same thing maybe on this little pot over here and on this pot right here. All right, so it added just a little bit more, you know, dimension and interest to that card front than just leaving it, you know, plain. So that's gonna get mounted on here. But let's stamp some ivy on our background. And then we're gonna just make this card a little more interesting, because it's basically a simple, you know, monochromatic card, right? So one of the things you can do to just step something up is to use an embossing folder. And that's what we're gonna use on this one. So let's bring back the cut and emboss, and we're going to use two different folders. On the background, we're going to use the brick and mortar folder, and I want the brick to kind of match the direction of what's on this house front here. So I'm going to put my paper in this way. Hi, Mindy. We were talking about school supplies earlier, and I was confessing how much fun it is to buy school supplies, and I still buy them even though nobody in my family really asks for them or uses them. I tend to buy them and give them away, but I bet, Mindy, you love school supplies too. All right, the other folder that I'm going to use is one of my favorites, the Tasteful Textile. And we're going to just do that on this card front here. And what it does, it just adds such a beautiful texture that looks a lot like watercolor paper. So it I don't know, it just makes it look so much richer. Okay. All right, look how this turned out. So we've got that beautiful texture, and then we've got the brick. So even though this is kind of just a plain layout, we can kind of step it up and make it a little more interesting by adding the texture to it. So let's add this together. And then we're going to pop that up on top of our card front. Like that. So even though this is kind of like just a basic, you know, rectangular, you know, not boring, but kind of boring layout, by adding the texture to it, it just kind of, you know, makes it very much more interesting. So I think I got that crooked. All right, now we need a greeting on the front. I'm going to use the missing you, and I punched out an oval to put that on. And that's going to go right there. I want it to stand out just a little bit, so I'm going to just take a little bit of the blending brush with some navy. I just kind of dotted that into the navy, and I'm just going to lightly go around the edges just to give it a little color. And then we'll add that to the card front. And then we're going to add a little bit of ribbon. This is some of the Misty Moonlight twine. And then we'll add one of these great, since we're using Misty Moonlight, we can use one of these little squares. I'm going to turn it so it looks like a diamond shape, like that. All right, so there's our front. So we can put that on our card base. Now again, you want to just attach it to the lower edge. This card front goes all the way to the edge of the card base, so I can put glue on all of that. And then lay that down and give it a straighten. Like that. So now that can be raised up like that. All right, so for the inside, we've got to make an element that is raised. So I thought it would be fun to use this fun little punch. And then I also wanted to just put a little strip here to kind of bring the navy back in. So let's start with that. I'm not going to raise this up. The punch is what's going to hold the card front open. This is just going to be an accent piece. All right, so in layering the idea of the greetings, I've got Missing You on the front, and then I want to use Your Friendship Feels Like Home. We'll put that there. And then we'll put this other little pot of flowers right there. I'm going to again take my blender pen and just make that pot turn a little blue by picking up that ink with my blending pen. And then I'm going to do the same thing and just give this a little edge of navy. Now I don't want all of this tag. I want it to end here at the bottom, you know, right before this strip. So I'm going to cut off this piece right here. Like that. And then I'm going to bump it right up against this little piece, but I'm going to raise it. And then before we do that, we're going to stamp this one more time because this is a really fun card to put stuff on the inside. And I really just want, I need some scratch paper here because I really just want the greenery on this side to be showing on the inside of the card. It's going to go there. So I kind of want the pots to look like they're sitting together. So we'll put that right there. Like that. Hello, Cindy. I'm going to use 4 dimensionals because I want it to be nice and sturdy to hold up that card front. And then we'll put the larger size of the square. Like that. All right, so let's see what this looks like when it sits. I like that. What do you guys think? Pretty easy, right? So when you think about cards that you're going to send this fall or winter, you're going to spend a lot of time you know, decorating something. Think about adding an easel base to it so that your card can be displayed over and over and over again. All right, so this is the horizontal version of the easel card. There, of course, will be a PDF that you can download on my blog. So let's look at some other examples. Actually, first, what I want to do is show you another celebration stamp set. This one right here. This one is so versatile. Let's just make a quick background. I'm going to take the rectangle here. And I picked just some fun, happy end of summer colors. So we've got Polished Pink and Mango Melody and Granny Apple Green. And we're just going to make a quick background and overlap these little rectangles. You might overlook this celebration one too and think, oh, I don't need that. But it makes the quickest card. So I did the green. Now I'm going to go back with the pink. And I'm just going to add that in a different direction. Making sure I have them horizontal and vertical. And some going off the edge like that. So easy to use. And then we'll go back with the mango, and then you fill in wherever there's space left. Isn't that pretty? You can pick out all different kinds of color combinations with this. Need one more right here. Cute, right? I'm sorry, I'm not even on camera. I love this. I think it's so easy. So I just wanted you to see how fun that is. And you can just do so many things with these little texture stamps. The splatter stamp by itself, that is worth it. I love a good splatter stamp. All right, so I made this into a card, and I used the Counting Sheep stamp set. And I did a little paper piecing with this guy. I just stamped it twice. I stamped it once on basic white, and I stamped it once on the Designer Series background paper. And then I cut it out and layered it together to get this very special sheep, because I love how this little sheep is just like, you know, balancing on its foot like, hey, look at me. And I thought, what? You know, I'm just thinking some little girl who loves pink. You say, you are amazing. Be who you were born to be. Isn't that cute? And there's the solid rectangle there. I was playing with this stamp set. This is in the back of the Celebration catalog. It is a Hostess item that hostesses can get for free when they have a collection of orders or a party that reaches $300. You also get this great sentiment set called In Your Words. And so I was really reading these this week for the first time, and there's some great greetings in here. Just very unique, different than anything that I have. So this Be Who You Were Born to Be, I thought that would be really cute with this super cute pink sheep. And then I had to play with the sheep a little bit more. So there you've got a jumping one, a standing one, or like a this way standing, and then this one that's standing on two legs, some birthday images. And then of course, with another $50 order, you can get the dies that go with it. And you've got these cute clouds and a sun and a fence and this little flag and a balloon. So you can really do a lot of fun stuff with this. And so I made another version of the horizontal easel card. Instead of scoring it in the middle, I scored it at 1 inch. I think it's 1 1/4. Let me check. Yeah, I scored it at 1 1/4 inch so that this would be kind of little. And then everything that I attached that I wanted to pop up when this became an easel, I just attached to this bottom flap. And so I put the little fence and these sheep. All right, so when the card's closed, it looks like this. And then when you make it into an easel, then those, I don't know how best to show you this on camera, that little scene pops up, right? So that is super cute. And for this one, I just did a decorative strip on the bottom and put the other greeting. So I loved this. You know, the sheep don't have to be silly, but you know, here's this sheep that's trying to get over the fence, right? And there was this great greeting in here that says, life is full of ups and downs, hold on tight. Like, that's just great, right? So I pulled in a feel better friend. So here's your friend on the other side of the fence, and you're just, you know, having some struggles, having to get over something. And so feel better, friend. Life is full of ups and downs, hold on tight. I loved it. Doesn't have to be silly to use the sheep, even though they are great that way. So there's 2 ideas with the counting sheep. Now I also couldn't resist playing with all of these pieces. So I made another card with the circles. And this time, after I stamped them, I put them through that same texture folder to just to make it more interesting. So this is a greeting also from here. Hope this card makes you smile. And then I put "You're amazing" on the inside. So same colors. I kind of went with this color theme here. And then I used some Emboss Resist, and I created these two. These are not easel cards, but same color scheme. And I used this little stripy piece right here. And I just did some sponging over the white embossing into some resist. All right, you can see I went a little crazy, right? All right, so that is our horizontal version of the easel card. So I've got one more quick little thing to show you. Another little idea. And this time I want to use the last stamp set, this Delicate Dahlias. And I just want to show you how gorgeous this is stamped. This is pretty easy to line up, but I thought that I would just use my Stamparatus to see how, you know, how close I could get it perfect. And it's pretty amazing. So let me show you. So so it's a two-step stamp. You've got the distinctive image here that looks like a photograph when it stamps. It's just beautiful. And then there's this outline image. So you can use them together, you can use them separately, and then you've got leaves and then this smaller flower too. And so I picked these two colors to do my two-step flower. So I'm going to use the Calypso Coral on the solid image. I'm going to ink that up. And stamp that. I didn't quite get the center in there. Let's just do it one more time. There we go. Oh my goodness. This is so pretty. I'm not going to lift it up yet because then I will lose my space. So there is the Calypso Coral. Isn't that gorgeous? And now I'm going to take the Cajun Craze, which is a little bit darker, and we'll put the outline over it. You can actually do this in either way. You can do the outline first and then fill it in. It doesn't really matter. And you've got this gorgeous flower. Now there are not dies for this one, so you have to cut it out, but it's worth it because it's so beautiful. So gorgeous. So let me show you a third version that is a little more stepped up than the basic version of an easel card. It's called a twisted easel. And so I'm going to start with a full sheet of paper. And for this one, you make a square card. So I'm going to cut my cardstock at 4 1/4 inches. And then I'm going to score it in half at 4 1/4 inches. Like that. So here is the card. It's a little square card. And then for this one, what you're going to do is you have to make a diagonal mark on the front. And so you kind of choose which way you want it to go. It doesn't matter. It can lift up either way. I'm going to do it this way. So you line up those two corners of the front panel on your cutting and scoring line. And you score across like that. So this one folds in just like the others, but it's going to fold on the diagonal. So this easel is a little bit different because when it pops up, then it creates this cute little triangle. So it's just a little bit more stepped up. And so what I did was I pulled in a piece of white for the inside, and then I pulled in a 4-inch piece for the front, and we're going to cut that in half. Like that. And that's what's going to get attached on here. Like that. All right, so let me show you the finished card so you can see how this goes together. So here is my cut here. There's the fold. And so I just cut out those dahlias and did some leaves. So when this one pops up, you still need that little element to have it stand up, but it's kind of at an angle then. And it just gives it another cute little look. So I used the sympathy greeting that came in this dahlias, and then I used this one from this stamp set because they coordinate together, and just added a little bit of rhinestones to it. All right, so we've got your vertical version, we've got the horizontal version, and then we've got the twisted version. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about easel cards. And then I hope that you dive right in and make some and just think about how they're going to be, you know, displayed by the recipient. And there you go. Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate your time, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.